Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and apologies I haven't got a video out since Tuesday. I'm in a bit of a state. You know why? Because Tanya is currently away in Belarus getting a new passport because it was about to run out. And yeah, I think I'm just starting to realize how much I take for granted how much she just keeps me level, and also how much she helps me out to enable me to really do as much as I do. Absolutely crazy there. She'll hopefully be back next week. We'll be back to normal. But anyway, I've got an exciting game for you today, and that is in my favorite light tank in the game, the one that I always go to, usually towards the end of the evening where I'm a bit frustrated with either matchmaking, RNG, all of that lovely shenanigans in World of Tanks, right? And I just want to have a really fast tank with really good view range. I feel like I can control the engagement. Now, of course, the vehicle can drive me absolutely balmy because it has 0.46 accuracy. As you can see, we pretty much couldn't hit the side of a barn there, the barn of a turret that is the tier 10 turreted British tank destroyer, the FV4005. So but apart from that, I just absolutely love this vehicle. It's got the best camo rating at tier 10, I believe. When I have this thing fully tricked out, I got 42% camo rating when moving. Just to put that into perspective, even if, say, the Batchad on the enemy team has a fully maxed out crew with camonet, not a camonet, with coated optics, things like situational awareness, recon, he's probably only going to be packing about maybe 520 meters view range tops. And of course, if they got 500 meters view range and you got 42% camo, then they're not going to be seeing you 300 meters away. That's absolutely crazy, and it gives you this amazing area to be able to work within, to be able to hopefully outspot your opponents. Now, the view range rings on your minimap are, of course, your bread and butter when you're playing your light tanks. If you don't use them, then you're probably going to be an absolutely terrible light tank player. Watch this. Oh yeah, 0.46. You aim there and the shell goes there. That's what kind of 0.46 feels like. Yeah, or it goes over there and hits the wall instead. Oh well, you know. But let's get back to the minimap rings. So this is a very important concept that I'm sure that the majority of you will be doing, but if you don't, it's always worth having a look at. And that is that you should be kind of, this sounds a bit crazy, but working out the percentage of concealment you have and just an idea of how much view range the enemy team will have. At tier 10, pretty much everybody's got about 460 to 500 meters view range. And so that means with 40% camo, as I said, they won't spot you at 300 meters. So 300 meters is pretty much about this kind of distance. And so you can kind of imagine rings on your minimap as to where the enemies are actually going to be able to spot you. And the goal is to try and obviously get as close to your opponents as possible without being spotted so you can light them up for your team. Now check out the minimap. And check out the chat here. The GWE100 was saying a lost game. And the AMX13105 is giving me a little bit of rep, but man, you're just putting a bit of pressure on me here in this rather tricky situation. So I fell back to try and spot for the GWE100 because clearly I want to try and get our tier 10 tank destroyers in with a chance to win it. And they did manage to actually shut down the E50M there and did a little bit of damage to the TVP as well, who decides that he doesn't like the fact that I've been spotting at mid-ranges and wants to close the distance. Alright, so now in this scenario, the TVP clearly realizes I'm stuck. What's the best way that I can get out of this? Well, I'm probably going to die. Maybe I can take that T100 LT with me. And so that's what you should be thinking in your light tanks. You don't have incredible armor. And a thing like a TVP is just voracious. So you always want to try and work with your allies. And oh yeah, say hello to my little friend, TVP. He did not expect that at all. He was presuming that maybe he was going to ram me and then put 4 rounds in 1,280 damage. With a ram, he probably could have been able to take me out in a single magazine. But he didn't expect the T110E4. Goodbye, sweetheart. And that keeps us in the game with all of our hit points. So important. Now, we haven't had a glorious game so far, right? We've just done little bits of spotting here and there. We've done little bits of damage here and there as well. But the most important thing is that we've retained all of our hit points. And we're just playing safely. Because you know what? Light tanks always do best at the end of the game. Now, why is that? Well, when there's half of the enemy players, as there are now, it's very much easier to isolate them. And it's also easier to find holes in your opponent's defenses. And for example, they haven't protected their 2 tier 10 artillery. The GW100, I guess, fires in frustration, knowing that he's got a T100 LT who has locked down his tracks and is going to finish him off with the 3rd shot. GG. Okay, and the T92 round here. Now, I know that he wants to splash me around the corner, and so I'm just trying to bait the shot. He didn't fire, however, so instead, now I'm going to try and swing around here. And there's a little bush that you can use here in a low-profile tank like this to be able to just sneak up into and have a little bit of a glimpse. And we spot the T92, doesn't spot us, and we put 1 into the tracks there, overmatching the side of the hull, I believe, with our 100mm caliber gun. He repairs, decides to run away. It's not going to happen. All right, nice. And now you can see the momentum that you can get in your light tanks towards that latter part of the game. Now, of course, it's very important to realize when it's time to explode out in your light tanks, because if you don't, then quite often you can just find yourself completely outnumbered and you can't play the supporting role, like I had with that T110E4 against the TVP. Alright, so now I'm telling the 705A to fall back, because I'm 90% certain that there's an FV4005 who's going to be sitting down in this location, and the T100LT is just going to fall back here and spot from the bushes, or alternatively just make his way around here, and then he's going to spot the 705A, and the 705A is going to get splatted. However, seeing how the 705A decides that just wants to stay put and try and cap out, I have to try and assist. But I'm not going to risk my hit points while I'm trying to assist here. So I'm just watching, 705A, looking at his hit points, waiting for them to deplete. But maybe, just maybe we can make it actually, 14 seconds, and this is where I was starting to get a little bit excited. The GWE100 on our team has the audacity to say no cap. Okay, well there you go, a shell comes in, and I believe that was the T100LT on the enemy team who made the interrupt, because it wasn't obviously a high explosive round. Looks like he pens the second one, the 705A fires off willy-nilly randomly, and there's the 4005 with the final kill shot. Now of course, that means they're both towards the south, so I'm going to try and work some of these bushes and see if I can spot out. Ooh, a bit of a misplay there by me to hit the tree, a bit of a panic. I'm going to try and work my way into the bush and just try and keep an eye out. So we've got an Object 140 in the middle, and we've got some German heavy tanks up to the northeast who are probably going to be able to outmuscle the 268. And I'm just trying to hope that I can get an artillery shell in here against the T100LT or the FV4005. Right, going to fire 1 into the back of our opponent here. The T100LT now has got less than 600 hit points, so in theory I should be able to kill them with 2 shots. That's very significant because I still have all of my hit points left, and they're going to have to hit me 5 times so I can win that duel. Alright, so the enemy heavy tanks are now going to be pushing through the northeast, and the Object 140 is going to be trying to scout them out through the center. And oh, look at all of the hit points on those German heavies here. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous now, ladies and gents. But I need to sneak back. I need to rendezvous with my artillery and with my Object 140. And I wasn't expecting to get spotted here. But lo and behold, a shell comes in. I must be spotted. Is the 705... Sorry, not the 705. Is the VK7201 going to be able to hit me? No, decides to shoot the Object 140. The T100LT shoots me and damages my fuel tanks, and I'm deciding, shall I use my large repair kit or not? Well, I was thinking I might be tracked, and sure, if I get hit in the fuel tanks again, I'm definitely going to burn, but it's probably still better to keep the large repair kit in case I get tracked to get out of harm's way. Alright, so now I'm loading premium rounds in the T100LT, and this is a bizarre tank because the premium rounds are actually armor piercing with 248mm a pen, while the APCR is standard with 230. Oh dear, 0.46 accuracy, and maybe a touch little bad on the lead there. Now, the one thing I didn't appreciate is that you've seen me slinging APCR rounds all game, the standard rounds on this tank, with 1,200 meters a second shell velocity. When you fire premium AP in this tank, it goes down to 800, and so I didn't adjust for that, and so maybe I'll be regretting that shot that I missed on the VK7201. Alright, nevertheless, can't worry about it now. All I have to do is try and figure out how I'm going to handle this 1 versus 4 situation with the support of a self-propelled gun. And of course, that's to get him firing, right? We have to get the artillery firing to see if we can manage to whittle down their hit points before we get them in close quarters combat. Even with 700 hit points left, I'm going to have to shoot that mouse 3 times, and that's if I'm able to penetrate him, because good luck managing to penetrate the front of a mouse reliably with 240mm a pen. Nevertheless, I think I'm going to come around the corner and go for it here, but no, I'm not, because the T100 LT tries to sneak up behind me. I roll for 282, which means that I'm going to have to roll high if I want to finish off the T100 LT with my next shot, and he puts a round into my back now. 880 hit points. Is he going to finish me off? No, he just tracks me, and will I finish him off? Oh no, another low roll, so we're going to have to put in another round here into the T100 LT. Now, I think I'm going to reload, but I don't quite manage it, and he manages to put in another great shot as I'm retreating, well, as I'm trying to advance towards him, actually. We finish him off. Looks like the VK manages to miss us, or was that the mouse? I didn't quite manage to catch a glimpse, because right now I'm just thinking about getting away from this big old tier 10 German heavy tank. That's the VK. You can hear the big shell there, and I decide, okay, he's got a long reload on that Clan Wars reward tank, right? Okay, well, let's try and reverse back as much as I can, and maybe we can fire a round right through the side of... Yeah, that one drove me a little bit balmy. We can't even penetrate the side of that guy's tank with a premium round there. Looks like the shell deviated a little bit to the right, but thankfully the FV4005, who killed our artillery, is going to be an easy kill. And we avoid another shell, and that looked like a heat round there from the VK7201. I don't know why I'd be firing heat at this vehicle. Probably do better with AP, at least with regards to overmatching the side of the tank, which that 150mm caliber gun can do. But of course, heat is probably going to be better against the turret, and also, I guess, if I get a miracle bounce off the front of the vehicle. Alright, so, 1 versus 2. 5 kills for me, 5 kills for the VK, and a mouse in support as well. Oh, this is going to be a close game. Well, maybe it's not, because I'm a one-shot for the VK, and if the mouse rolls high or sets me on fire, I'm going to die to that shell as well. Alright, 33 seconds. I managed to avoid going into the enemy's cap circle, so they might still think that I'm going to come down from the west, and I'm trying to bank on that, because good luck trying to manage to penetrate the front of these vehicles if they're aiming towards us. Alright, so the mouse is facing towards us, the VK is facing away from us. I'm going to use that information to get a little bit further forwards to try and get into some cover and try and put a round into the back of the VK, but oh dear, 0.46 accuracy, that's great, isn't it? But the VK obviously hasn't figured out that I'm behind him and shooting him, but now he clearly does. He is a knowledgeable player who turns his tank around knowing the shot, well, the direction that the shot came from. Alright, so let's advance, go up here. I've got 8 seconds left on the game to be able to get the interrupt. The VK, oh, I'm going to have to go for the tracks, because remember, you don't actually have to damage the enemy tank to be able to interrupt the cap, and we interrupt with 1 second left. The VK misses us again, and we're going to see if we can put a round. We're taking a look to see which way the VK is facing, and funnily enough, the VK hasn't actually turned his tank around yet, and so I managed to put one into the back of the VK, lowering him now to a one-shot, but I'm going to have to shoot this mouse 3 times if I want to finish him off. I'm going forwards, backwards, trying to avoid the shell. Now just full on backwards to try and escape vision from the mouse here. And I'm going to use that, remember, 42% camera rating, and the fact that these guys probably don't have the best of view range to be able to just outspot them. Alright, we've reset the cap multiple times already. We'll be able to do it again. Look, they're thinking that I'm going to be coming up from that way. But the mouse is actually trying to block for the VK here to try and cap out. But because the mouse is doing that, the mouse is actually enabling me to be able to penetrate in the side. Both of the enemy tanks bounce, well, miss, and I'm thinking, like, I cannot believe it right now. I'm managing to go through the side of a mouse at long range who's trying to block for the VK, but if I can finish him off... Okay. My heart was racing. This doesn't happen all that often in World of Tanks. It usually takes me several hundred games before I have a round where my heart is actually racing, and right now, it's neck and neck. I've got 6 kills, the VK's got 5 kills. Who's going to come out on top here? I've got 2 premium rounds left. He's a one-shot. What am I thinking? Alright, get low. I've got to get as close as possible. I've got to try and get to the side of the tank, try and put pressure on them, maybe with my low profile to really go for it. I'm going to use this rock for cover. Now I'm going to swing right to use the mouse to avoid the shell from the VK7201. Now I'm going to swing left a bit, but a little bit too slow. Oh dear. Ladies and gents, a bit of a heartbreak for me at the end of this game. The VK reversed around and managed to get a shell just past the mouse turret. And without showing you the replay, it pretty much went into the turret armor right here, right on the corner, and shut me down. But wow, that was a chancy shot for the VK there, putting all of his eggs in one basket. Because if he'd missed that shot, it would have been the easiest game of my life to take this one. So hopefully this game got your heart pumping as much as it did mine. Boy, it's a bit of a heartbreak, but these are the kind of games that I play World of Tanks for. I can't really get this kind of excitement in any other game that I play. We get a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 self-propelled guns, a Defender's medal for over 100 base defense points, I don't know how much it exactly was, and a Top Gun for our 6 kills. 4,000 damage dealt, nearly as much as the tier 10 heavies and the tank destroyers on the enemy team, but I warn you, I lost a lot of credits this round, as I was not expecting to have to fire nearly as many premium rounds against those tier 10 heavies at the end. And really, you have to in your tier 10 light tanks in those scenarios. You're just going to bounce your standard rounds again and again and again and again, because Wargaming have given them something like 25% penetration shell drop off over 500 meters, by far the highest in the game for any tank type at any tier. And when you're dealing with 2 fat Germans, yeah, I was not looking forward to seeing that after battle repair and resupply cost. Irrespective of the result, I had a blast this game, and hopefully you all did too with this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, considering that the Object 705A is going to be top of the tree tomorrow on the European server, there's no wonder why the majority of you voted for that rear turret mounted tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. And so come along as I try to demystify probably one of the least popular tier 10 Soviet heavy tanks in the game, and let you know whether it's going to be worth grinding through this tech tree in the upcoming month. And if you've never been to one of my tech tree showcases before, they're basically like miniature tank reviews, starting at tier 1, working my way up towards tier 10, and so you can see if it's a line that's worth grinding, or if you already have the tanks, maybe pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.